Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing? It's me, Mr. 4K Upscaler. So I decided to go ahead and plug in my PC and use my PlayStation 2 emulator to play a little bit of Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty. And I said, let's try it out. Let's use the HDR emulator that's built inside this BenQ 4K HDR monitor. So what you're seeing here, it's a 720p that I was able to emulate on PSX2 emulator, and it's being upscaled to 4K. So 720p, it's being upscaled to 4K, and I have selected 16:9 ratio, and I have to say it looks pretty decent. It's not bad. And I'm using my Xbox One controller with my PC. All you have to do is use the map button mapping on there, or once you put all the mapping on your buttons, you can use it like a PlayStation 2 controller. It doesn't look bad. It doesn't look bad at all, I think. This is what you're hearing. It's the built-in speakers from monitor. Let me turn it on a little bit. Strange smell. This is Vamp. This is one of my favorite parts in the game. Is when we go to the shell, the big shell 6, and then we encounter Vamp.
Are you all done cleaning up? Yes, but wait till I tell you what I found. Something interesting. Yes, where are you? In the central unit with the president. Be right there. Yeah. Hold on. I'm not an enemy. Calm down.
Snake Plissken. What's the Snake Plissken?
My name is Pliskin. Iroquois Pliskin. Lieutenant Junior Grade.
No, my name is Snake. Iroquois Plissken.
Are you a Navy SEAL? How did you get in? Fast rope descent from a Navy chopper. Have I seen you before? That suit. Are you Foxhound? That's right. Foxhound was disbanded. Huh? Where were you before Foxhound? Delta Force? I was part of the Army's Force 21 trials. Force 21? That's about tactical IT deployment, right? Any field experience? No, not really. So this is your first? I've had extensive training, the kind that's indistinguishable from the real thing. Like what? Sneaking mission 60, weapons 80, advanced VR, huh? But realistic in every way. A virtual grunt of the digital age, that's just great. That's far more effective than live exercises. You don't get injured in VR, do you? Every year, a few soldiers die in field exercises. There's pain sensation in VR and even a sense of reality and urgency. The only difference is it isn't actually happening. That's the way they want you to think, to remove you from the fear that goes with battle situations. War is a video game. What better way to raise the ultimate soldier?
I have to say it looks pretty good. I think
So you're saying
using the
VR training
emulator,
is
it's
mind
better on the 32-inch 4K monitor than playing it on like a big 55 or 65-inch screen. I think it's better on the monitor. I remember using my emulator on Sony X900E, and I can tell that the quality really wasn't there where it needed to be. But on a 32-inch monitor, or even on a 28 monitor, but especially a 32-inch monitor, it just looks a little bit better. I mean, the upscale looks a little bit better, considering this is a PlayStation 2 game being emulated from PC. It's still a PlayStation 2 game, but it's being emulated, obviously, from the PC. By the way, I am using PCX2
What the hell?
software.
A Navy captain. You all right?
All right, let's watch this for a little bit, shall we? Let's enjoy this.
Must have lost a few more pints than I thought. What was that man just now? That blood-sucking freak. That was Vamp. He's Romanian, a wizard with knives, as you saw. The way he moved didn't seem human. You won't see that in VR, I guarantee. What is he? One of the members of Dead Cell. Dead Cell? Him? A special forces unit created by ex-President George Sears. The name was originally intended to reflect its anti-terrorist functions. The unit would launch unannounced assaults on government complexes for the ultimate terrorism simulation. They were needed to show VR troopers like you how to deal with the real thing. But around the time their original leader died in prison, the unit began to unravel. They were always close to the edge, but they became more and more extreme, began to go after U.S. allies, even civilians. We estimate that no fewer than 100 people died as a result of accidents the Dead Cell arranged on their own. They were out of control, and it all came to a head 6 months ago. What happened? The unit was devastated. There are only 3 left now, and you just saw one of them. Why would they go after the big shell? How should I know? I told you they were on the lunatic fringe. What about their leader? He says he's Solid Snake. Snake died 2 years ago. You mean the incident that made this big shell necessary in the first place? Right, and he was the one that sank that tanker. But he's a legend. Legends are usually bad news. There's not a lot of difference between heroes and madmen. You're saying Snake is still alive and pulled another one? No, he's not involved in this one. His body was positively ID'd 2 years ago. Snake is dead. And buried. What about the other soldiers? I saw Russian equipment too. Former Soviet military. They're probably mercenaries. The big shell is too much ground for just Dead Cell members to hold down. You weren't briefed on any of this? And you came in alone to boot? Why? What are you really doing here? Can't tell me, huh? Fine with me. I don't smoke. Keep it anyway. May come in handy. Take this too. Aren't you going to answer him? The BC connecting bridge. We need to get there. handle it? I need a few more minutes. Remember my frequency. It's 141.80. 141.80. Got it. I've been briefed on this plant's layout. If you need information on the place or about Dead Cell, contact me. You're using nano communication, right? Yeah, but I can patch into your frequency. Colonel, SEAL Team 10's Bravo team was wiped out. I see. What happened to the cargo choppers? Both of them are at the bottom of the harbor. Looks like your new hosts have a Harrier too. A Harrier? What is this? Calm down. It just means they anticipated the attack. What? Besides, since the SEALs drew their fire, your infiltration went off without a hitch. On top of that, we know their defensive capabilities. Are you saying this was all a feint? Right. Get a hold of yourself. The entire mission is in your hands now. Do you understand? But there's no time for questions. They could decide to retaliate for that failed assault. You mean the hostages? They could be in danger, yes. But we need to consider the possibility that they'll blow the whole shell. If that toxic spell does take place, it'll devastate not only the harbor, but poison the coastline for generations. Raiden, we've had to adjust the mission objectives. The priority is now on removing those C4s that the terrorists wired over the big shell. The president can wait, but this can't. Colonel, you know I'm no bomb disposal expert. That's not a problem. The Bravo team brought an explosives pro in with them. He was supposed to stand by on Strut C according to their mission plan.
Yeah, I remember this part. It was that bomb squad NYPD, that black guy that was hiding in that storage room on Strut C. I remember clearly playing this level, man. But it looks pretty good, man, on a monitor. Considering I switched to 720p, from 480p I switched to 720p, and from 720p being upscaled to 4K, this is not bad. I mean, sure, you can see some blurriness here and there, but it's still pretty good, though. I still like what I'm seeing. And the HDR emulation, it looks a bit clearer, you know, like the deep dark level is a little bit better, and the contrast is a little bit brighter due to the fact that I'm using HDR emulation. Like people ask me, how do you use the HDR emulation? Well, hold on a second. Let me, what am I supposed to do here? People ask me like, oh, here we go. People ask me, what does the HDR emulation means? Well, the HDR emulation, it's something that's built inside this monitor. It's like a fake HDR, a mimicking HDR. It's not a real HDR, but it works on the content that doesn't support HDR. So obviously this game doesn't support HDR, so I'm emulating the HDR into this game. You have to remember, this is 720p being upscaled to 4K.
Freeze! Don't shoot. You a cop?
I'm not NYPD. I came in with the Bravo team. Who are you with? And what happened to SEAL Team 10?
They're all dead.
All of them? That's bad.
Did I tell you you could move? It's all right. He's not one of the bad guys. Don't go pointing that thing everywhere, kid. What's your name?
My name is Peter. Peter Stillman.
Lecturer at Navscolio at Indian Head. Also a consultant for the NYPD bomb squad.
A poor old man who got dragged along for this picnic.
I thought you'd retired.
I did. Can't keep up with everybody, as you can see. A famous church got wiped off the map thanks to me, with too many lives inside. All I lost was this leg.
So you're the bomb disposal guy. This is the bomb disposal guy. Open any explosives disposal textbook and you'll see his name.
Just ancient history now.
Why did they bring you out of retirement then?
Because the terrorist group here includes one of my students, the Emperor of Explosives, Fat Man. He built an atomic bomb when he was only 10. I created him in a sense.
And that's why you're here.
I'm pretty rusty. I was supposed to supervise the bomb disposal. Looks like it was taken care of before I had my turn.
I wouldn't say that. There are at least 2 people here who can claim to be experts at bomb disposal.
Are you two with SEAL Team 10? I didn't see you at the mission briefing.
Oh, we're with another squad. My name is Pliskin, Lieutenant Junior Grade. Honored to meet you, sir.
Mr. Pliskin, do you have any experience with explosives disposal?
Don't worry about me. And he looks young, but he can do it. But we need more manpower.
You know why they use the Pliskin? Because Hideo Kojima was inspired by John Carpenter's Escape from New York, Kurt Russell movie.
An engineer?
And Lee Von Cleef represents Ocelot. You see how Hideo Kojima represents these characters. And the Colonel, it's inspired by the Colonel in First Blood Rambo. There you go. I just want to give you these little Easter eggs, clues.
He was supposed to get us past all the security measures.
I never heard anything about that.
He had official orders with him.
We'll leave that for later. Right now we need to figure out how to deal with all the bombs. But there's no one left from the SEAL's EOD squad. Yep, so we have to do it ourselves. But I've never defused a bomb before. Hold on a sec. Off to confer with the CO again.
Glad to hear Stillman is safe. Assist him in any way possible to clear the C4 from the structure.
Colonel, you know I've never been trained in bomb disposal.
It's all right. The man you're working with is the best in the field. All you have to do is follow his directions. You will, of course, keep your identity and mission objectives to yourself.
Is it true that an engineer came in with Stillman?
I wasn't informed of that. It's probably something the SEALs decided on their own. There are more important issues at hand, Raiden. The enemy may retaliate for the failed assault. Get those C4s neutralized now.
Colonel, I'm not qualified for bomb disposal.
Jack, it's me.
Rose?
You can do this. Trust me.
You haven't had bomb disposal training per se in VR, but you're more than capable of handling C4.
This is a little different from using C4.
You're up for this. You know that.
How about it, kid? Are the results in yet?
Man, this game brings so much memories.
You won't actually be dismantling the bomb. That's not for amateurs. What we'll try here instead is a temporary freezing measure. Here, look at this.
And the latency is not that bad either, man. Considering that I'm using an emulator here, it really looks good on the monitor, guys.
You can see it pulsing. Now you spray this on the sucker
And I think playing emulated PlayStation 2 games will look better on the monitor, on a 4K monitor, than on a big 55 or 65-inch television screen, in my opinion.
That's enough time.
If we had the manpower, I'd recommend complete disposal. But this will have to do. The spray can be used from several yards away. Now check the floor, ceiling, walls.
It feels weird me using the Xbox controller. With my PC.
Is there anything that'll help us locate the bombs?
Take this with you.
I'm using Elite controller.
It's what they call an ion mobility spectrometer.
Elite controller right here.
Gas emitted by C4s.
The what? In other words, that little gadget sniffs out C4's scent.
That's right. I've established a link up with your radar network, so...
Oh yeah, this screen is a matte finish. Just to let you know, guys, this is a matte finish screen.
What if he's using some other odorless substance?
I know Fat Man well.
The Fat Man.
To his own aesthetics he is.
Signatures?
Yes. On every bomb he builds, he always leaves a trace of the cologne he uses. The sensor also picks up that particular sense spectrum.
Is that something he learned from you?
No, it was his own quirk. He wouldn't work by any rules except his own, and he followed them like a religion. And common sense wasn't one of his strong points. I thought I taught him everything I knew. I have no children of my own, and I thought I found a son in him. He had the right stuff, you know. There's something very unusual about an ability like that. Even at Indian Head, he got special treatment. I remember some people called him one of the fat cats. Maybe that's what started all this. I didn't teach him the most important thing I had to tell him. There are some things you have to pass on. The trick is to know which one. Right. All I taught him was skills. And now I have to stop him from using it to destroy us all.
Let's see how well that sensor works.
All right. I'm activating them. Watch. You see the green stuff on the radar? That's a visual representation of the C4 scent detected by the sensor.
It's a pretty big area, isn't it? Don't complain. It's better than nothing.
Just activate the sensors and search the area, okay?
All right.
Don't forget that you need the radar to use the system. Log into the node at every...
Alright guys, so I'm gonna have to end this video. I only have 22 minutes left on this 1440p recording. Hopefully you guys like this video. I know I gotta do a live stream of this. I know. When I'm not tired, when I have time, I will do it. I promise, guys. Alright though, thank you for watching. Have a good one.
I know the structure of this facility.